Hi there, welcome to Colcester Model Railway. This is the 2nd of August, so the August update for the railway, and as you can see I am up in the new shed. So I just wanted to show you a little bit of what's been happening since the last update and the plans going forward for the shed, what we have in store for it, and also I hope to show you a little bit of the garden area so you can get some idea of where the eventual garden outdoor layout will run from the shed. So bear with me, that will be towards the end of the video, so catch up with it there. In the meantime, let's crack on with what's on in the shed. So as you know from obviously outside, you saw as we came in, I fixed some new signs to the outside of the shed on the left hand side of the door. One of the signs, the orange one with Colcester International on it, was originally meant to go on the older shed where I used to live. Never got around to being fixed onto the shed, unfortunately. So it's now earned its place here on this new shed, mainly because although the model railway is now referred to as Colcester Model Railway, the idea is to keep the mainline station as Colcester International, and that's very clear on the plan. So obviously when you see the plan you will see that. So what have we been doing inside the shed? So I think I better show you very quickly what's been going on. We've been clearing out items from both the garage and from the back bedroom in the house where a lot of the train stuff was stored. So at the moment, currently, we have this in one corner of the new shed. So this is mostly the a few like train items, like rolling stock and that, which you can probably see if I did have a quick look down here. Got some Eurostar coaches, and there's a Javelin pack in that box as well. But this is mostly scenic items and a few road vehicles as well. And I've put them in here because obviously we needed the space inside the house. And this shed is going to be used mainly as storage for the railway items in the end anyway. They're going to be on shelving underneath the layout boards. So it's all got to come up here. But we're not going to overcrowd the shed with storage items and boxes and stuff like that, mainly because, as you can tell from the interior walls, we still haven't done the inside insulation boards. That's yet to come. They're stored in our garage. We've got a whole stack of them in there, so we're going to be bringing those up from the garage, bring them up here and get them attached to the walls. One reason for the delay has been the weather. As you're probably aware, here in the UK, we've gone through like successive heat waves, and things are not ideal. Even today, it's roughly about 26 degrees outside, but inside the shed it's something around about 31. I'm sweating clappers here doing this video, so I hope you'll bear with me. But yes, the idea will be obviously to put the cladding on the walls, and then once that's done, we will be able to crack on with inserting the layout boards, see the frames and everything like that. One thing that is going to go into here though, and that's on the back wall, on this bit here, roughly in that area, we're going to put in a ventilation sort of fan, really just to help with circulating the air inside the shed and to hopefully cope and combat with some of the excess cold and heat extremes that we can have in this country. So we are thinking that will help a little bit in obviously helping this layout in here, not getting any bent or stressed tracks or anything like that. Obviously, when I do the track lane, I will be using the expansion joint method, so I shall just leave little gaps in the 2mm gaps in the track and that, and make sure that it's got room to move in here anyway. But that's another idea that we thought. Obviously, the other reason for having the ventilation fan is because we're going to be doing a lot of painting and gluing up here, obviously, whilst the layout is being constructed. And we just thought it might be an idea to have the additional ventilation because you can't always have the door open. For example, if I was up here and it was raining, I don't particularly want the door open with the rain coming in. So the fan hopefully will help in that respect as well. So just on the other side of the shed, if I just come around here past the 4 main windows, which give a lot of light into this building. That's really a good idea. I think they've had 4 rather than 3. On this side, we have the other boxes. So again, we haven't gone overboard. We haven't sort of brought up a load of stuff and that. We've just put a few items down in here, and obviously bags of rolling stock and so on. The Curascale ones in the yellow box there. You saw a yellow bag, and then other box train units and that, which are in these ones here. Tried to keep most of them right together, as you can see from the Azuma sets there. And yeah, really just brought these up so that, again, clearing space in the back bedroom. So that's all we've already done in the shed at the moment. So I hope that gives you a little bit more of an idea of what's going on. Things are being done, even if there's no boards in place at the moment. But it's not a race. We're not trying to sort of finish this overnight. It's a long-term project, so for a while you probably won't be seeing an awful lot, particularly in the videos, but there will be videos. You'll be seeing my progress as we do it. You'll be seeing my mistakes as well as we do it, but hopefully the project, as we go along making this layout, will be one which will be instructional to people. It will be a helpful sort of tool for an aid for people to sort of reference to. And my idea, obviously, in the long term, is also just to get people really interested into model railways, particularly younger generation. I really feel like, we need to appeal to them a lot. And I'm hoping now, using things like YouTube and so on, they might get to see this and hopefully think it's a good idea for something to do for themselves. Right, that's enough waffle inside the shed. Let's go outside into the garden, and I'll try and show you roughly where the route for the garden layouts are going to run. Before I do that though, I'm just going to show you here in the shed where the 2 exit points will be from the layout. So you'll get an idea where they'll go out into the garden. So coming over here, just to the left-hand side of this window, we've got 2 very strong buttons either side. So what we're going to do is we are going to pierce this one here with basically 2 holes, one above each other, so that an upper level track and a lower level track can go out at the same place and go out into the garden at this point here. And then on the other side of the shed, to the right hand side of the door, we're going to pierce it again over in this area here and send another double track out in the direction of the garden from this point. So let's see where that pans out in the actual garden itself. So follow me. So the track to the left-hand side or right-hand side of the door, depending on whether you're inside or outside the shed, will exit roughly from this point on the shed wall. It will be on a raised track, basically elevated over top of this. This will be all cleared out and sorted out by the time we get around to doing that anyway. And it will continue all the way around this area until it reaches the back end of another shed in the garden, and then it will disappear behind the back of that shed. Now, the back of the shed presents a little bit of a challenge. We're going to have to fit down there a solid plank, probably of around about 10-foot length. The shed itself is roughly about 8 foot long, but we're going to have to put a plank of around about 10 foot so that we can get it through to both sides and have an end to sort of work on. That gives us obviously the priority then to make sure that the track that's put down on it is in working order. It's all wired up and everything, like, you know, with continuous bus feed, and obviously that is also able to be lifted back out again if we need to replace it at any time. So that will be the main priority for getting that piece of track right. So what we're going to do now is go through under the pear tree. Mind the washing. We'll come around to this bit. And this is the section by the side of the window on the front of the shed where the other tracks will come out. Okay, and that will then continue down the garden this way. It's going to run behind this plant here, and it's going to follow the fence line down. That particular line is going to continue quite a way down, and it's going to end in a loop, single track loop, and come back on itself. And when it comes back in, it'll go back into the hole in the lower section. So the split levels will basically meet up roughly about halfway along. That gives them a fairly gradual gradient. All right, so we're just going to go back over to the other side of the garden and check the other side of the garden layout. Right, so the 10-foot plank, which will go behind the back of this shed, will emerge from this side here. It'll run down alongside the fence here, but won't be attached to the fence because the fence line here is not our property. That will then continue on down, and then just where this part here, where the lawn basically separates into an upper and lower level, the track will split, and you'll have one track continuing on along the fence line, and the other one will continue along this side of the apple tree. It will then circle around the apple tree and then join back up again with the track which is running along the fence line. That will then complete a much larger loop at this section. Okay, so you can see the shed in the distance there. That's the right hand side of the garden, showing where the line will come through behind the back of that bush again. It's going to run down the line of this fence here, and then at some point down to this area it's going to split and again form a big reverse loop and come back on itself. So that will complete both garden loops. It will enable the track then, or the trains I should say, to run through the shed from one garden loop into the next garden loop, passing through Colcester International Station on the way. So this is what makes the new layout plan rather exciting, because it means that the layout, when it's just inside the shed, is a self-contained end-to-end layout running from one storage yard through a couple of stations and then into another storage yard. But then when you're able to use the garden sections, it becomes one huge tail chaser. So like I said, you know, you can literally have trains running through the shed from both sides of the garden, and probably even have them running at obviously speed or something, you know, coming through, which will make it look like a really fast non-stopping service. Really hope to obviously emulate that, so it should be good to see. But anyway, I babble on now. That's everything for now. The only other thing I will mention is that obviously the exterior of the shed is going to be painted. We've got some preservative paint to put onto it, so that's going to be done. And some guttering is going to be added as well. So other than that, that's all for now. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, leave a comment as well, and catch us on the very next film. Bye for now.